Chapter 1: The Journey. In the opening chapter of the book, Bradberry and Greaves discuss the importance of emotional intelligence and provide an overview of the concept. They define EI as your ability to recognize and understand emotions in yourself and others, and your ability to use this awareness to manage your behavior and relationships. They argue that EI is a crucial skill for success in both personal and professional contexts. The authors also introduce the concept of the EI journey, which consists of 4 steps. 1. Become aware of your EI strengths and weaknesses. 2. Learn and practice new EI skills. 3. Incorporate these skills into your daily life. And 4. Continue to improve and refine your EI skills over time. Actionable steps for entrepreneurs. Take a self-assessment of your emotional intelligence using a tool like the Emotional Intelligence Appraisal, which is included with the book. Identify your strengths and weaknesses in each of the 4 EI skills: self-awareness, self-management, social awareness, and relationship management. Choose 1 or 2 areas where you would like to improve your EI skills and focus on those areas in the coming weeks and months. Chapter 2: The Big Picture. In Chapter 2, Bradberry and Greaves provide a more detailed overview of the 4 EI skills: self-awareness, self-management, social awareness, and relationship management. They argue that these skills are interrelated and build upon one another. For example, self-awareness is a prerequisite for self-management, and social awareness is a prerequisite for relationship management. The authors also discuss the importance of setting goals for improving one's EI skills. They argue that goals should be specific, measurable, achievable, relevant, and time-bound. Actionable steps for entrepreneurs. Develop a clear understanding of each of the 4 EI skills and how they relate to one another. Set SMART goals for improving your EI skills in each of these areas. Identify specific behaviors or actions you can take to improve your EI skills, such as journaling to increase self-awareness or practicing active listening to improve social awareness. Chapter 3: Tune into your emotions. In Chapter 3, Bradberry and Greaves delve into the first EI skill, self-awareness. They argue that self-awareness is the foundation of emotional intelligence, as it allows individuals to recognize their own emotions and how they affect their behavior and interactions with others. The authors provide several strategies for increasing self-awareness, including: keep a journal to record your emotions and reflect on how they affect your behavior. Seek feedback from others to gain a better understanding of how you are perceived by others. Pay attention to your physical sensations, as these can be indicators of your emotional state. Actionable steps for entrepreneurs. Develop a regular journaling practice to increase self-awareness. Seek feedback from colleagues, mentors, or coaches to gain a better understanding of how you are perceived by others. Practice mindfulness meditation to increase awareness of physical sensations and emotions. There are several mindfulness apps and resources available, such as Headspace and Calm. Chapter 4: Accurately label your emotions. In Chapter 4, Bradberry and Greaves argue that accurately labeling emotions is a key component of self-management. They explain that people who are skilled at accurately labeling their emotions are better able to manage them and respond to them in a healthy way. In contrast, those who struggle to label their emotions may find themselves reacting impulsively or inappropriately. The authors provide several strategies for improving the ability to accurately label emotions, including: pay attention to the physical sensations associated with different emotions. Use a tool like the mood meter to help identify and label emotions. Practice labeling emotions in real time, such as during a stressful situation. Actionable steps for entrepreneurs. Develop a habit of paying attention to the physical sensations associated with different emotions. Use a tool like the mood meter or another emotion tracking app to help identify and label emotions. Practice labeling emotions in real time during a challenging conversation or meeting. Chapter 5: Determine the causes of your emotions. In Chapter 5, Bradberry and Greaves explain that understanding the causes of one's emotions is a critical part of self-management. They argue that people who are skilled at understanding the causes of their emotions are better able to manage them and respond to them in a healthy way. The authors provide several strategies for improving the ability to understand the causes of one's emotions, including: reflect on past experiences to identify patterns in emotional reactions. Use the ABC technique to identify the activating event, beliefs, and consequences associated with an emotional reaction. Seek feedback from others to gain a better understanding of how external factors may be affecting emotions. Actionable steps for entrepreneurs. Reflect on past experiences and identify patterns in emotional reactions. Use the ABC technique to identify the activating event, beliefs, and consequences associated with an emotional reaction. Seek feedback from colleagues, mentors, or coaches to gain a better understanding of how external factors may be affecting emotions. Chapter 6. Recognize your patterns. In Chapter 6, Bradberry and Greaves discuss the importance of recognizing patterns in emotional reactions. They argue that people who are skilled at recognizing their patterns are better able to manage their emotions and respond to them in a healthy way. The authors provide several strategies for improving the ability to recognize patterns in emotional reactions, including: keep a journal to track emotional reactions and identify patterns over time. Use the Think, Feel, Act cycle to identify recurring patterns in emotional reactions. Seek feedback from others to gain a better understanding of how patterns may be affecting behavior. Actionable steps for entrepreneurs. Develop a regular journaling practice to track emotional reactions and identify patterns over time. Use the Think, Feel, Act cycle to identify recurring patterns in emotional reactions. Seek feedback from colleagues, mentors, or coaches to gain a better understanding of how patterns may be affecting behavior. Chapter 7. Increase your emotional intelligence with self-management. In Chapter 7, Bradberry and Greaves discuss how self-management can help increase emotional intelligence. They argue that people who are skilled at self-management are better able to regulate their emotions and respond to others in a positive way. They also explain that self-management requires a combination of mindfulness, self-control, and adaptability. The authors provide several strategies for improving self-management, including: practice mindfulness meditation to increase self-awareness and self-regulation. Develop self-control by setting clear boundaries and managing time effectively. Cultivate adaptability by embracing change and seeking out new experiences. Actionable steps for entrepreneurs. Develop a regular mindfulness practice, such as meditation or yoga. Set clear boundaries for work and personal time and stick to them. Seek out new experiences, such as networking events or conferences, to cultivate adaptability. Chapter 8. Bounce back from adversity. In Chapter 8, Bradberry and Greaves discuss the importance of resilience in social awareness. They argue that people who are resilient are better able to handle adversity and bounce back from setbacks. They also explain that resilience requires a combination of optimism, perspective, and perseverance. The authors provide several strategies for improving resilience, including: cultivate optimism by focusing on the positive aspects of a situation. Develop perspective by considering alternative viewpoints and solutions. Practice perseverance by setting goals and persisting in the face of obstacles. Actionable steps for entrepreneurs. Develop a habit of focusing on the positive aspects of a situation, such as by keeping a gratitude journal. Seek out alternative viewpoints and solutions by collaborating with others or seeking out mentorship. Set SMART goals and track progress to develop perseverance. Chapter 9. Respond to others with emotional intelligence. In Chapter 9, Bradberry and Greaves discuss how to respond to others with emotional intelligence. They argue that people who are skilled at responding to others in a positive way are better able to build relationships and achieve success. They also explain that responding to others with emotional intelligence requires a combination of empathy, assertiveness, and flexibility. The authors provide several strategies for improving response to others, including: practice active listening to increase empathy and understanding. Develop assertiveness by setting clear expectations and boundaries. Cultivate flexibility by being open to alternative solutions and approaches. Actionable steps for entrepreneurs. Develop a habit of active listening by paraphrasing what others say and asking clarifying questions. Set clear expectations and boundaries in professional relationships, such as with employees or clients. Seek out alternative solutions and approaches by collaborating with others or seeking out mentorship. Chapter 10. Build stronger relationships with emotional intelligence. In Chapter 10, Bradberry and Greaves discuss how emotional intelligence can be used to build stronger relationships. They argue that people who are skilled at relationship management are better able to connect with others and build trust. They also explain that relationship management requires a combination of communication, conflict resolution, and teamwork. The authors provide several strategies for improving relationship management, including: practice active listening to build trust and understanding. Use humor and play to build rapport and diffuse tension. Seek win-win solutions to conflicts by collaborating with others. Actionable steps for entrepreneurs. Develop a habit of active listening by paraphrasing what others say and asking clarifying questions. Use humor and play to build rapport with employees or clients. Collaborate with others to find win-win solutions to conflicts. Chapter 11. Tune into the needs of others. In Chapter 11, Bradberry and Greaves discuss the importance of tuning into the needs of others in relationship management. They argue that people who are skilled at tuning into the needs of others are better able to build empathy and understanding. They also explain that tuning into the needs of others requires a combination of empathy, social awareness, and adaptability. The authors provide several strategies for improving the ability to tune into the needs of others, including practice empathy by putting oneself in the shoes of others. Use nonverbal communication to show understanding and support. Be adaptable by tailoring communication and behavior to the needs of others. Actionable steps for entrepreneurs. Practice empathy by imagining oneself in the position of employees or clients. Use nonverbal communication, such as nodding or maintaining eye contact, to show understanding and support. Tailor communication and behavior to the needs of others by taking into account individual differences and preferences. Chapter 12. Connect with emotionally intelligent communication. In Chapter 12, Bradberry and Greaves discuss how to connect with others through emotionally intelligent communication. They argue that people who are skilled at emotionally intelligent communication are better able to build relationships and achieve success. They also explain that emotionally intelligent communication requires a combination of clarity, authenticity, and respect. The authors provide several strategies for improving emotionally intelligent communication, including use I statements to express feelings and avoid blaming others. Be clear and concise in communication to avoid misunderstandings. Show respect for others' opinions and perspectives, even if they differ from one's own. Actionable steps for entrepreneurs. Practice using I statements in communication to express feelings and avoid blaming others. Be clear and concise in communication to avoid misunderstandings. Show respect for others' opinions and perspectives, even if they differ from one's own. Chapter 13. Bringing it all together. In Chapter 13, Bradberry and Greaves bring together the 4 EI skills covered in the book and explain how they can be applied in practice. They argue that emotional intelligence is not a fixed trait, but rather a set of skills that can be developed and improved over time. The authors provide several strategies for applying emotional intelligence in practice, including start small by focusing on 1 or 2 areas for improvement. Practice regularly to develop new habits and skills. Seek feedback from others to gain a better understanding of one's strengths and weaknesses. Actionable steps for entrepreneurs. Identify 1 or 2 areas where improvement in emotional intelligence skills can have the greatest impact on your business or personal life. Develop a regular practice to improve these skills, such as daily journaling or mindfulness meditation. Seek feedback from colleagues, mentors, or coaches to monitor progress and identify areas for further improvement. Chapter 14. Developing your emotional intelligence over time. In Chapter 14, Bradberry and Greaves discuss how emotional intelligence can be developed and improved over time. They argue that emotional intelligence is not a fixed trait, but rather a set of skills that can be developed and improved through practice. The authors provide several strategies for developing emotional intelligence over time, including set SMART goals for improving emotional intelligence skills. Use feedback from others to monitor progress and identify areas for improvement. Develop a growth mindset and embrace challenges as opportunities for learning. Actionable steps for entrepreneurs. Set SMART goals for improving emotional intelligence skills and track progress regularly. Use feedback from colleagues, mentors, or coaches to identify areas for improvement and adjust strategies accordingly. Cultivate a growth mindset by reframing challenges as opportunities for learning and growth. Chapter 15. Emotional Intelligence for Life. In the final chapter of the book, Bradberry and Greaves offer some final thoughts on emotional intelligence and its importance for success in life. They argue that emotional intelligence is not just a skill for the workplace, but rather a crucial component of personal well-being and happiness. The authors provide several strategies for applying emotional intelligence in all aspects of life, including practice empathy and compassion towards oneself and others. Prioritize self-care and stress management to maintain emotional balance. Cultivate positive relationships with friends and family. Actionable steps for entrepreneurs. Practice empathy and compassion towards oneself and others by taking breaks and delegating tasks as needed. Prioritize self-care and stress management by making time for exercise, meditation, and other activities that promote well-being. Cultivate positive relationships with friends and family by maintaining regular communication and expressing gratitude for their support. Overall, Emotional Intelligence 2.0 provide a summary of the key points covered in the book and offers some final thoughts on emotional intelligence. By focusing on developing emotional intelligence skills, entrepreneurs can improve their ability to manage emotions, build relationships, and achieve success in both their personal and professional lives.